Hi, Mike here, Dezaras Prime, on my Plus One channel. Not here with a review, I'm here with more of an opinion piece. And I don't want this to come across as inflammatory or provocative or hateful or anything like that, because that isn't my intention. There was just something that occurred the other day that made me want to say something. And again, don't want this to be provocative or inflammatory or anything like that, but I have some opinions on the certain matter at hand. I'm not going to name names or anything like that. And this might be a bit all over the place as well, because I tend to bounce back and forth between subjects, but they're all connected in a way. It's kind of like an even more disorganized Zack Snyder film. The topic at hand was a guy reviewed a Transformer, and he wasn't happy because he was getting negative feedback. And I haven't seen the video. Apparently, it's been taken down. The channel's been closed. So I can't give an opinion on the quality of the video itself and whether it justified the negative feedback. It was just the thing that he closed the channel down, and that was what kind of made me think to do this. Now, I haven't done a review in a long time. I've had some life-altering events happen lately. As you can probably tell from the decor, I'm in a different place. I'm moved into a much bigger place. I have more rooms and stuff. Really big changes have happened to me lately. But before that, I wasn't reviewing that much either. And part of that was because of space and finding a decent way to review in a cluttered box room. And the fact that I hadn't been doing as much toy-related stuff on my other YouTube channel. Fuck off, Java. That was another reason as why. Again, that came down to space. I'm in a much bigger place. I'm taking a break from sorting out the playroom upstairs. I can have my own playroom with my Transformers and my Lego sets and everything, and use it as a studio and get back into doing Transformers estate related stuff. That might factor into why I wasn't reviewing as much, because they kind of went hand in hand. I'd use the toys as cast members basically, and I'd have a certain toy and I'd be like, I might review that, or I'd review a toy and think that needs to go in there somewhere. But yeah, that's why I haven't reviewed in a while. That's one of the reasons why I haven't reviewed in a while. Another reason is that a lot of the comments on this guy's post were, do it because you enjoy it, don't do it for the views or the feedback or anything, do it because you want to do it. And that's another of the reasons why I've stopped doing it, because I'm not enjoying it as much. My time is dedicated to other things. It's stuff that I enjoy doing, so I do that instead. I do enjoy reviewing. I still want to do it from time to time. I'm still finding myself in this place. Maybe I'll get back to it. I keep using the term retired. I was never paid for it, so I don't really see how that fits. But I am on really big ass long hiatuses from my reviews. The last ones I did were Combiner Wars, Defensor, and the Protector Box. So yeah, I just haven't got the passion for it that I used to. But there's one thing, and this is something I realised when I was in therapy, because I was in therapy for a good 10 sessions, late last year through this year. Really came to terms with a lot of different things. I'm not going to go into details about that, but there was one thing that me and my therapist discussed, and it was my YouTube hobby, and it's not a career to me, and why I do it. And again, it comes down to enjoyment. Another thing was, and this is because I've always been of the belief that I've never really worried about views. Turns out I was wrong, because I was going through this thing with my other stuff that I do. Why bother? What's the point of all this? I've got too big a workload, and the views aren't there to justify it. So it turns out that even though I didn't realise it at the time, views were a concern to me, which is fair enough. You do this stuff, and you're going to want an audience. That's a given. It depends on, I guess, on the level of effort and commitment that goes into the project. Now, the stuff that I do takes a lot of work. It might seem simple on the surface, I'll get into that in a minute, but it takes a lot of work to craft and put together, and that can kind of factor into, you've put a lot of work and you want people to see it and give their opinions on it. I mean, reviewing for me is easy. It's I talk about a toy. That's pretty much it. I show a transformation sometimes. That is, for me, that's it. A lot of other people, they'll go above and beyond. They'll go steps further. Hugh Adams has his intro and outro, and he clearly puts a lot of thought into what he says about the toy. I just shoot from the hip, I ramble, and as I'm doing now. So yeah, Hugh Adams, he's got a big audience. He does great reviews because he goes that one step further, maybe a few steps further. I don't know. Okay, Gerard Wolfgang One has his own, sings his intros and outros, I'm guessing, and he just has this personality that kind of is, I don't want to say magnetic, because it shouldn't be magnetic, really. It draws me in, basically. That's what I'm saying. Then you got guys that have the presentation with the spinning table. I see a lot of this on the Lego reviews, actually, the Brick Show and Brick Vault and that. And they have like the rotating spinning tables, turntable sort of things, and crystal clear resolutions and the white background, so there's no lighting issues and stuff like that. A lot of people do that, and again, that's going above and beyond. I just sit here and I'm just like, look, here's a toy. I haven't got a toy at hand, so oh wait, look, here's a toy. It's a TARDIS. The back's missing. It's somewhere. But yeah, that's pretty much the, what's the word? That's how I do my reviews. That's how I've always done it. And so it depends on the effort, and is what I'm trying to get at, because I don't expect much from my reviews, because I don't put a lot of effort into it. But if I do something like with Transformers a Soap or Dark Savior or something like that, where a lot of effort goes in, then I start to think to myself, well, it would be nice if more people were seeing this. That goes into what I was saying. Grab a coffee, is it? Sorry about that. I just showed my ass. Another reason I stepped away from reviews was, and this is a key part for me, is one of my strengths is I like to tell a story, and I can tell a good story. And with reviews, I don't really do that, do I? I mean, you get some character reviews, and they have like skits, and you get the gimmick reviewers, and that's fine. I'm not a gimmick reviewer. My stories and my characters are in the form of other stuff, like my DCUO Machinima. That's the main thing I've been doing lately for the last few years. That's kind of exploded. That has a heavy work rate. I'll just go into briefly what entails a Dark Savior or a Steel Savior, whichever fucking Dezaras character I'm working at that point. What goes into making one of those projects? I need a script first off. Then I need the voice work doing myself. Zoe, Bradley's done one as well. Mike, Megabyte Unleashed, and others have contributed to my stuff. So I need to get the voice work done from myself and those people. Some of these episodes are an hour long, so you can imagine sitting with a microphone doing the voice work for it. Need to record it, which is quite strenuous sometimes. It's an online game, so I've got multiple systems. I'm lucky in that respect. When the game's online, when the game's functioning fine, then yeah, I can go ahead and do that. It's but then I've got, from the multiple systems, I've got the multiple footage angles and perspectives that I need to all edit together, and then I need to score it. By score it, I mean use other people's music, and I tend to use the Hans Zimmer stuff and the Arkham theme a lot. Arkham music for the Dark Savior version, Batman Begins music and that. But putting that in, there's not really a lot in the way of special effects because it's pretty much all in the game. If I need to add anything separate, then I can do that. But it's a time-consuming process to do that. Not to mention I work as well, so it's a case of when I've got time to do it. And before, when I was in the box room, I couldn't record there because you might think with it being a game online that everything's there where I need it, but the other characters and stuff, I couldn't fit my PS4s and both my PCs in that room. So now I've moved, it's a lot easier. But that's just the work that goes into it. And for that work rate, I expect at least someone to watch it. And it goes on target demographics and stuff. My stuff I've never really had feedback from comic book readers or fans of the DC product outside of the DCUO game. Most of the feedback I've had comes from people within that community, who play the game, and some who make their own machinima and stuff like that. I had one comment on a Christmas one year saying that it reminds them of when they used to read comics, and it brought back memories of that sort of thing. That was nice. But it's tailored to a certain audience, and it seems to attract mainly the DCUO machinima portion of the DC fan base, the comic book fan base. With Transformers reviews, it's different. I'd like to think there's a wider audience there with the Transformers reviews. But there's also a lot more people doing them. I mean, I can probably count on both hands the amount of DCUO machinima creators, myself aside, that I know of. And that's kind of telling when, with the Transformers reviews, you've got, I've name dropped a few earlier, and other people, there's a lot of Transformers reviewers at the minute, so you need to do something that stands out. There's less pressure to stand out with a DCUO machinima, even though a lot of my stuff has been complimented, but it's someone said I raised the bar or blows it out the water and stuff like that. That's cool, but there's not as many people doing it. Fuse reviews, they're all quick, snappy like that. I can't do that. I've been here talking for 14 minutes now, and I'm still not done. That's the good thing about his. Gerard swears a lot. That's what I like about his reviews, when he's like, oh, this fucking shit piece of plastic, or this fucking great piece of plastic, or and it's fucking Excellion. Brad Rhodes did a review of Drift, and he just had fucking Dr. Robotnik come across the screen at a random point. Little things like that, and they're what make people stand out. And he is Dr. Robotnik, he's not fucking Eggman. It's Robotnik for me. I'm old school and old. But so it's about making yourself stand out, and I don't really do that with my reviews. I just review it, and That's it. And the other thing is, and this is what helped me, and this is where I've actually done my research, because this guy started out with a Titan's Return figure. Now they're going to be all over the place. Reviews for those, the Titan's Return stuff, is going to be all over the place because that's the current market. Last Night's just coming out, but Argos was shit with that. They had a Last Night display. It was like just this one piece of card on the table, and then they had the fucking RID stuff. That's how bad Argos are for Transformers. That could be a Hasbro distribution thing though, like it was with Age of Extinction. I will say this though, Argos have really got the fucking Lego prices down pat. I'll just say that. And there's like stuff that used to, it's like fucking lowest price and shit, and it fucking is. But yeah, it was a Titan's Return figure, and it was, that is the in thing at the minute. Pretty much like my Combiner Wars reviews that I did. I'll give you the numbers in a minute, but I didn't get many views because Combiner Wars have just passed. Now, what I did when I started reviewing back in 2009 was I reviewed Star Wars Transformers. That's a key thing there. I went for something a little more obscure. When everyone else was reviewing the movie lines and the Revenge of the Fallen stuff and the Universe 2.0 and alternators and that, I went with something a little bit different, and that helped me bring in a few more views. Star Wars Transformers, I've got a few numbers here. My first one, the Darth Vader TIE Advanced TIE Fighter, 340. Stormtrooper 8080, 246. Jango and Boba Fett, 301. Some of them even go up to like past 600. So I was averaging between 100 and some of them north of 600. My Obi-Wan Kenobi Jedi Starfighter got 627. TIE Pilot TIE Bomber got 635. Luke Skywalker Snowspeeder got 408. It's but they were pretty obscure things. The Darth Vader Death Star, Part 1 got 185, Part 2 got 310. And then I started moving into other stuff, and 127 for 2007 Clocker. My Superion reviews getting between 50 and 70, because Revenge of the Fallen Superion came out around that time. Revenge of the Fallen Sideswipe, 9. So yeah, and that was in 2010, so it was around about that, revenge time. So I made myself stand out a little bit then by reviewing a Transformers line that wasn't mainstream, that wasn't the in thing at that point. I didn't start off with Universe 2.0 or Revenge of the Fallen or any of the movie stuff or classics or any of that. I went with something that was a little bit more obscure, and it brought in the views. Let's talk about obscure. 1,929 views on my WWE Microaggression Figures review. That is these guys. I don't have many of them now. Bradley tends to play with them a lot. That's RVD, in case you can't tell, because he's got a pretty plain singlet. My Money in the Bank Hell in a Cell playset from the WWE Microaggression line, 12,074 reviews. Again, something a little obscure, because people would probably review the full size. Bear in mind, this is all Jack stuff as well. This was pre-Mattel. People will review the bigger ones and go with the full, like the elite figures or the basics or whatever. Not many microaggression reviews out there. Excuse me. Now, I do want to say that on my microaggression reviews, I have dislikes. It didn't put me off. I think on my Money in the Bank review, someone was like, "Oh, stop saying gimmicky so much," and I was a bit salty about that. This was pre-therapy, me, by the way. I kind of maybe got into a bit of a bitch fest with this guy. Looking back on it, not my proudest moment, but it is what it is. But the point is, the Star Wars Transformers and the microaggression stuff brought in my highest views. Beast Wars Optimus Primal 39, G1 Power Master Optimus Prime 98, Reveal the Shield Cyclonus 19. Because they're done by more people, I guess. They're, more people are working on those and doing stuff like that. My 10 shots, 10 bots, that's only got like 30 odd views each part. Come on, guys, I got fucking off my tits on that. I was fucking ill for days. Give it some love. I'm joking, Yeah, and then I kind of, RID Ultra Magnus got up to fucking 73, but I never quite reached it. Armada Unicron. I never quite reached those Star Wars Transformers levels, or the microaggression levels. Especially not the microaggression, which I'll eliminate from this discussion now because that isn't Transformers. But, yeah. My pure sex top 10, that got me 500 odd. But that wasn't a singular review. That was just me talking about the Transformers that I really like. Revenge of the Fallen, Hunt for the Decepticons, Leader Prime, 107. I'm going to stop rambling off numbers there. Just one more, though. My Combiner Wars reviews. 7 views for Rook and Defensor. First Aid 2. Streetwise 3. Blades 2. Hotspot 5. Because Combiner Wars has only just passed, and there are going to be plenty of Combiner Wars reviews out there. I watched a load of Combiner Wars reviews from different people when I was buying my Combiner Wars stuff and figuring out whether I should get them or not, or if I was waiting on a delivery and I wanted to see it before I got it, I'd watch a Combiner Wars review. Did the same with Titan's Return. I haven't reviewed a Titan's Return thing yet because there's no point, because everybody else has done it. And someone out there is going to have reviewed what I plan on reviewing. And I'm running out of obscure things to talk about, review, in terms of the toy lines and what variety there is. I reviewed all my Star Wars ones, and that was where my views were coming in mainly. And the rest of my stuff is all mainline stuff. Prime and Kim Beast Hunters, movies, that sort of thing. And I'm not one of those that's going to go out on launch day for toys just to go out and buy them just so I can review them and rack up 100 views before someone else buys it. It's not my thing. And I live in England, so I can't fucking do that. It was hard enough to fucking get my fucking Age of It Last Night Prime. That's a good one, man. But yeah, that pretty much sums up my thoughts on this. The point I was trying to make, so I did say I bounce back and forth, is yes, it's important to do it because you enjoy it. I stopped enjoying it, I stopped doing it. Simple as. I still want to do it, sometimes I still get that itch, so I might do one. Yeah, do it because you enjoy it. Don't rely on views or feedback. I've had negative feedback. It is what it is. I've had positive feedback as well. Yeah, views, I think, are important depending on the work you put in. If you're just going to be like, oh, this is, he does that, and this is Rob Van Dam, and he turns into a sitting down Rob Van Dam with his hands in the air. No. Don't expect much from something like that. If you put the effort in, if you put the work in, then yeah, you can want views. Excuse me. Like I do with the stuff that I do pay most attention to, and I put the most work into. Another thing, it's kind of hard, but don't do what everyone else is doing. My biggest success as a reviewer came from the Star Wars Transformers. A lot of those toys are shit, but I like them. Most of them. Palpatine's a fucking bag of wank. But the ones like the Death Star, I enjoy the Death Star. I really wanted that. The Vader TIE fighter. The Fett, Boba and Jango, I like them. They're not that good, but I don't know, I just really like those toys. Darth Maul was a letdown, but those are my opinions on those, and those are things that I was able to convey. And it was opinions that not a lot of people were talking about at the time. So try and be unique. Try and don't set out. I mean, be yourself, but if you want the bigger audience, you might have to be more than yourself. You might have to up the presentation values. You might have to focus on something that isn't the in thing at the moment. And do it because you enjoy it. That's basically it. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to get back to sorting out a playroom. Maybe at some point I'll give you a tour. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll do a review. Maybe I won't. It depends how I feel. I've been Dezaras Prime, and you shall see me whenever.